I've got live stream offline.
Imagine all that you need to make perfect adjustments in the palm of your hand with the most advanced ultimate golf wind calculator on the market. Improving your game across all formats with guidance from the very best players in the game. Unlock the secrets of the game and compete at the highest level. You don't have to imagine it anymore. It's here. Ultimate Golf Caddy. Get the app today. All right, well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are finally here. After months of back and forward and months of waiting and questions and excitement, I am excited myself to finally announce that the Ultimate Golf Caddy is in the Google Play Store. Happy days, we're here. Good times. So tonight, guys, or this morning for you guys in the north, we are going live to do a bit of a playthrough with the Ultimate Golf Caddy. But to join me tonight, I've got my very good friend, the guy that's helped this thing get to this point, Kevin Girard. Say hello, buddy.
Hey, man. How are you?
Hey, I'm good, mate. And for those that don't know, both Kevin and myself have been working on this thing for how long now, mate? It's been, 18 months, I think, that we've been working on it, hasn't it? Or longer?
Yeah, probably a year and a half. Like a lot and some breaks. So it's always like we work full time. So
Yeah, well, that's
almost
yeah,
a year.
and that's the thing too. You know, we're both working full time. We both got jobs. We've been doing this in the background, burning the midnight oil, getting this thing out to you guys for the last year or so, and yeah, we're finally here. But
Yeah, I can't believe.
we also have another very special guest, none other than the tubbiest feline in the game himself, Mr. Fat Cat. Say hello, brother.
Chunky Kitty reporting in, mate. Hello, buddy. How are we?
Chunky Kitty in the house. Good to have you on board, mate. It's
Mate, thanks for having me and thanks for inviting me in, mate. I really appreciate it. You guys have been good friends for a very, very long time, and I'm really excited for you guys tonight. This is groundbreaking material.
yeah, thanks, brother. And what you just said there is, I think, one of the most important things. You know, like we've been friends for a long time. There's a lot of really good dudes and chicks that play this game. You know, I've been here myself for a bit over 2 years, 2.5 years now, maybe a little bit longer. And I've made some awesome friendships. And you know, regardless of the app, it's such a good community. There's such a good bunch of people. And yeah, we're just super excited to be able to get this thing into the hands of all the legends that play this game, and hopefully get everyone dropping lots of shots.
Yeah,
So
Cat and me were in the same. Like at the very beginning, we were in the elite, so we know each other since the beginning of the game. So
it's
crashing royals.
yeah.
Yeah.
So for those that don't know, way before the club system started, there was pretty much two groups. There was the tournament players, which was my group and Duff's group. We all hung out together, and then there was the Royale players that hung out together, the elite. And that was Kevin, that was Fat Cat, that was Webbo, Nathan, you know, all the guys, and Bessem, who's joined us. Thanks for coming along, Bessem. All these
Ben.
guys were all part of the elite group. all smashing the Royals. We were focusing on the tournaments. And there was a bit of rivalry there, wasn't there, boys?
Oh, that's an understatement.
Yeah. And it got to a point where we decided to do a little friendly, slightly not so friendly tournament play versus each other. So we did some head-to-head stuff and tournament battles. We made teams and but we quickly realised that we all got along really well. So that rivalry disappeared, and now we're all really good mates, and we've been good mates for ages now. So, that's one good thing about the game. It brings people together. So, yeah, enough of that stuff. Anyway, we're here to talk about Caddy. For those that are watching along, if you haven't already done so, you should be able to go and have a look at Caddy in the Play Store now. So if you go to the Google Play Store and type in Caddy for UG, you should be able to find it. If you're having any issues, it might not quite be activated in your country yet, but it will be very shortly. So as soon as that's available, you guys can go and download it. Before we get into having a play around with the Caddy, on my YouTube channel, there is a video that gives you a setup tutorial. Goes through everything you need to do to set the app up. So make sure you go and have a look at that. That's going to show you exactly what you need to do to get this thing going, and then you can start using it in the game. So I don't know. I think that's probably all we need to say for now. Fat Cat, you've been using it for a while, mate. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, my biggest thing is the guys in Whiskey Biz saw yesterday. I posted up a picture of my scorecard from Harbour Town. I dropped a 17 on the front nine when I used the Caddy, and then I turned the Caddy off, and I'm embarrassed to say I dropped an 11 on the back nine. There was two 900s on the back nine and a 98, and the numbers are bang on. It is one of those things that once you get your head around it, you work the maths out as well as working with the Caddy, it's a games changer. It really is.
Yeah, 100%. And that's one thing. So we've had a private test group now of 50 guys and girls helping us get this thing to market. And that's something that everybody has said. They're so confident in the numbers now that they know there's something wrong in their setup. So all they need to do is now start reading the green, understanding how rollout works, all of those things that you need to set up a shot. You don't need to worry about your numbers anymore because you know they are accurate. And we'll go through, I won't nerd out, but I'll go through some of the high level maths that sits behind it, like how you can be confident that the numbers are right. But that's a key. I think the fact that you can go and play your shot knowing that the numbers are going to get you back to the point that you wanted to get to, if all other settings are equal. So if you're on a flat green with flat trajectory coming in, then the numbers are perfect. So then you can just focus on rollout. It gives you that confidence. You can really start to understand how the green works, how the rollout works, whether it's a head or a tail or a side wind, whatever the case is. And you are going to get a lot better at understanding what's going on when you're setting up your shot. So, and yeah, as I said, that's something that the testers have said. And we've had guys who used to shoot, minus 12, minus 13 rounds for 9 holes that are now consistently shooting minus 17s within, 6 weeks. Really crazy numbers coming from the group. And so it's going to be a game changer for a lot of people, 100%. Really excited to get it out there. So Yeah, so before I'd start going through some of the setup and the playthrough and things like that, I'll just quickly have a look at the chat. So we've got a few things here. Pascal, if it's still showing under development, that's fine, mate. If you can download it, we're actually, right now, what we're actually in is a live test phase. So what that means is that we're effectively still in a test phase and we want to open it up to a wider audience to make sure that there's no bugs on certain devices, because we've only had the opportunity to test it with 50 people. So obviously there are a lot more devices on the market. We don't want to start charging people for something that we're not 100% confident in from a usability perspective. So we have now opened the testing phase up to a wider audience, and everyone will be able to start using the app in a test setting for a little while. So the fact that it shows up that it's still under development, that's fine. Go ahead and download it. You'll have access to the app. You'll be able to use it for free until we go to the actual live production phase where we completely release the product onto the market. So there's no issues there. Hey Patrick, good to have you, mate. I know you've been keen for this app for a long time. You've been at me for a while, so it's finally here, buddy. Go and get some drops. I can't wait to see your first stream with it, because I know you're going to love it, buddy. And Rocky's got a question about the balls. So this is a really good question. Right now, you've only got the option to choose between a Pro D1 and any other ball. The only reason we've done it that way is that in the current wind conditions, excluding some of the high wind tournaments that we might come up against, there is such a negligible difference between the lowest power and the highest power balls that it's actually not going to affect your shot enough to need to change your adjustment. However, we're the first release that we come up with after this one, so the first update will have all balls included in the app, and you'll be able to choose whether you're using a 1% or a 10%, 12% ball, whatever the case may be. So right now it's only a D1 or any other ball, so don't worry about that. Just select all. That will get you going and you'll be good to go. Hey Nath, everyone, LFC's in the chat, the big man, the Royal King. Congrats on your 8,000, buddy. So stoked to see you get there first. You know you're the best, so that's all that matters, hey? I know, Fat Cat, you might want to say something about that.
Oh, well, I love you, Nath, mate. You're a royal legend. So I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break, but we may have someone joining us very shortly.
Jared is in the chat. Hey, buddy. So for those that have seen my promotional video, my amazing production of that promotional video, that was done by none other than Jared A himself, another guy that has been a great support for me over the last few months, and another guy that I've gotten really close with. So, thanks, Jared, for all your assistance over the time that we've known each other, buddy, and I can't wait to see you start getting a few more drops with this thing too. Oh, and look who has joined us.
Not so easy talking live, is it?
None other than Ultimate Golf Royalty himself, Mr. Duffy Duff. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Duff.
What's going on, gentlemen?
Hey, mate. No, it isn't. It isn't easy talking live, and I'm not playing. I'm just talking. It's normally I'm playing and telling people how I set my shots up, but this is just me, going through the motions. So I'm starting to feel your pain, mate.
I'll tell you one thing. It's It's not often, other than hockey, that you will get me to set an alarm on a Saturday morning to get up for something. But after all the hype and it's years of development of this app, absolutely 100%, I set an alarm to get up early because legitimately, like, this app is responsible for, well, in its earlier phases, for such a high percentage of my success in this game, which then turned into success on YouTube and other stuff too. But yeah, man, I had to get up for this, and I'm excited to watch you play this round with it. Everyone can see it, and yeah, I wish you nothing but success in this. I'm excited for you. I know we talked in the last little while, and you were nervous last night, or I guess this morning for you, and I even got a little bit nervous for you. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, mate, the butterflies have been flying all through my belly.
It's like Christmas morning now, though.
Yeah,
it's
we're
exciting.
here.
It's gonna be a good day. It's
And
There he is.
And yeah, when we started the live, one of the first things we talked about was the friendships that we've made in this game, and your name came straight up. So, you know, we've been at it together for 2.5 years. We've become really good mates, and I can still remember the day that I sent you that Excel file saying, "I think I've cracked it. I think I've cracked it." And
I know it well, absolutely.
and we started getting drops, and we started winning tournaments. It was a revelation. So now we get to share it with everybody.
We started winning tournaments with 2 drops over 9 holes, and
a lot of 890s.
Those are the good days.
Oh yeah,
But
I miss those days.
I think the important thing here to remember for people is, like, even when we started first using the app, you brought that up, right? It was 890s and 895s. That this isn't going to get you from, if you're at the 800s right now, like, this is going to get you immediately to the 850s, to the 875s. Don't expect immediate 999s and drops, but stick with it. Don't get discouraged if you're not getting the drops right away. Stick with it even a few days. That's all it's going to take, is a couple of rounds, getting used now to landing where you actually are supposed to land. You get that spin right, and you're going to be shocked. You're going to go from 8s to 850s to 875s to 890s in like a few rounds, and then all of a sudden, 1 drop around, 2 drops around, 3 drops around. And then when you get up to that level where you're getting 7 or 8 drops around, make sure to stay out of my brackets, because I don't want to.
Hang on, mate. Hang on.
That's actually a really good point. You know, there's obviously a scale of where players are at in the game. If you're someone that's nowhere near right now, you're going to start seeing your ball get really close to the hole. If you were someone who was close before, then you'll start to get the extra drop here and there. And if you're someone that was really close before you started using the app, you're going to get the drops. You know, I did, before we went to the beta test, I sent a slightly modified but a sort of a pre-release version to some of the boys in Whiskey Business. And one of the guys, the first time he used it, he got 9 drops. So, you know, it's going to change the game. But as Duff said, if you were getting close before, you're going to get closer. And the fact that the numbers are consistent, the fact that you know you're always going to get the right number for the shot that you want to set up, and then all you need to worry about is the reading of the green or the elevation changes in your shot setup. You know, you start understanding that stuff, and one of the guys on the chat's got some great videos on that stuff. You know, go and have a look at Duff's content, because you'll start to see the things that you're doing wrong, and you'll start getting those drops. And as Duff said, stay the hell out of my bracket, because you're going to start beating me. And I've had a bunch of guys in the beta group that have started kicking my ass, and it sucks. But at the same time, it's so awesome, because I know that
long overdue.
Yeah. Yeah, shut your hole. But yeah, so 100% Duff, 100%. Everything you just said, mate. And can't thank you enough for your support, buddy. I know, you know it means.
We're not here for me. Okay, enough of that. We're here to watch some Caddy. We'll do that off the air.
We're getting there. We're getting there. All right. So what do you? I think it's time. Let's get some Caddy.
Release the Caddy.
Release the Caddy.
Unleash the power.
We've just got.
Of course, downloading.
Just got some assets to download here. Just give me a second.
You've been sandbagging again, mate.
Yeah, that's right. Jim,
Kev, too.
Chuck, this is where we need your music, mate. Your elevator music. Downloading.
I was going to put some music behind this, but got a little bit distracted with the release of an app, you know. So Kevin,
what, you couldn't even cook dinner tonight, mate?
Kevin, I think it's your turn to have a chat. So for those that, as I said at the start of the stream, for those that don't know, I've been working on this for quite a while with my good friend Kevin. So Kevin's done the heavy lifting on the actual app development side of things, and I'm the math geek. So Kevin, while I'm starting to set things up here, mate, I'm going to throw it over to you. And you can say hi to everyone and tell people a bit about yourself, and we'll start getting a bit of Caddy action going.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I'm working as a programmer since like 2 years. When we talked about the app, I just learned how to do a function in programming. So like a function is pretty fundamental. So I was like, yeah, we go into that. Let's go. Why not? So that was like jumping in the hole and don't know what you're doing, but like over time, it just like forced me to be a way better programmer, because like the way you improve when you program is by doing micro projects and just small projects, so you can improve some part of like your skills. So this is a small project, I could say.
It's a small project plus another small project plus another small project.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's so many part of like programming, that like the server side, the Android side, and then there is the Google Store side where it's not programming but more management stuff, law, and like it brings you in ways that you don't I didn't even imagine. So this is like I've been doing that for a year, but I could easily say like I'm programmer since 2 years and a half, just because I've been working on this app. So
we've both done a lot of learning, haven't we?
holy shit, yeah. It's like bringing the ring to Mordor, but we don't know what the hell we're doing.
Well, everyone gets access to My Precious now, so happy days.
Yeah, that was like a split job between me and Banger. Like sometimes one guy is less motivated than the other, so like it's self we were self-helping each other, and like we made a pretty good team at feeding each other weaknesses. So yeah, I can't thank you enough for that, man.
Yeah,
So it's Sam and Frodo now.
We've definitely pushed each other along the way, that's for sure. Bit of Sam and Frodo action for sure, mate.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
And
right,
fact,
so
I was working in a restaurant before, and like physique fatigue, you can work even if there's physique fatigue, but at some point when you work mentally for programmation, like it's very, very, very hard. It's harder than physical fatigue. So at some point I was so tired mentally, and just like it was a lot of fatigue accumulated. So yeah, for now, this morning is a release.
yeah, we're here. We're good.
Mm.
All right, so let's do it. Let's play a shot. So I'll go through the process so that for those that aren't aware, you'll get an idea of what we're going to do every time we set a shot up, and then sort of understanding how we read the green, all that kind of stuff. So I'll talk through the whole process. You can see how it all works, and then we'll get the caddy working, and we'll go from there. How's that sound? So the first thing, What I will recommend is going to have a look at one of Duff's videos talking about setting up for max Bigfoot. So it's something we've been doing for a long time. Bigfoot is one of those clubs in the game that, because it has such a high level of backspin, the secondary wind effect is significantly lower than other clubs in the game. So you can be pretty confident that you're going to get to the right spot most times. So if you're not already doing it, start aiming to hit to max Bigfoot on your approach shots for par fours and par fives if you can get there as well. But there's a lot more longer holes in the game now. But so once you've got yourself close to max Bigfoot, then you can start to get the caddy working in action. So we start by, the first thing I do is, I'm not going to go into a full this is how you play the game thing tonight. I just wanted to give you a look at the app. But I'll always start by looking at whether there's any break against the hole, which on this hole there doesn't look like much. Then I apply my backspin. Now with the app, you've got a few different parameters to input, but this one that I'm circling here now, this one is counting your rings from max. So to understand what you're doing there, you need to push your club all the way up to max distance and then start counting back. So for me, I've just counted 5 rings. So I started 1 inside the white ring on the extreme outer ring and went all the way through to the other side of the center, which gives me 5 rings. And I'll explain all that when I start adjusting my shot. And then I'm going to go and have a look and see how much backspin I've got, whether that looks like a decent setup. So I've got a little bit of headwind, maybe a 20, 25 degree headwind. And as you can see, it's a pretty tight, once I apply my backspin, it's a pretty tight rollout. So without even starting to read the green, I know that with a little bit of headwind, it's going to pull my shot up a lot quicker than it would in any other setting. So I'm at 5 rings from max. I sort of keep that in my memory. And now I'm going to look and have a nice close look at the break on the green. I can see that there's a bit of right to left break. So I compensate for that by adding side spin. Right, so that looks like a good position on a perfectly flat green. And then I want to start thinking about how my shot might roll out. So if I have a look at it side on, it's pretty much a flat pull, maybe slightly downhill. But I'm gonna play this as if it was a flat pull. So right now on this rollout, I'm probably a little bit closer than I want to be. I want to be maybe another 0.1 of a ring back. I don't know, Duff, what do you reckon?
I reckon I was looking at my hockey schedule and trying to figure out where I was going to drive from spot to spot today, but I think it looks good.
That looks good, Banger. Yeah, go for that. Thanks.
And you pulled up a hill, so that's going to add a little distance, so you'll be fine.
What do we got? All right. I'm going to just go straight at it. Now, Bay Hill does have some elevational changes on the green, so I might not be... Yeah, you're right, actually. There is a little bit of an uphill pull there. I might go back a touch more, just a touch. So we'll go to 5.1 rings. If it's not in, you'll see how close I get, and then, you guys can start to do the same sort of thing when you set up your shot. Slight uphill pull, so I'm going to be a slight under adjust here. So I want to set it up slightly to the right of the flag with that wind. As you can see, I'm looking right at the tip of my ball guide after the second bounce to make sure I'm at the right spot. That looks pretty good. Let's go and see how we go. So we've got, as I said, this box here tells us our rings from max, which was 5.1. Then we go I always do the rings from max first because I forget how many rings I've counted if I don't do that first. So little tip for those that are just starting to use it. I'll always do my ring count first. Then I input my wind. One of the questions that came through earlier was about the ball. At this stage, all you want to do is select all, unless you are using a Pro D1. And then one of my favorite features, the wind overlay, which if you go and watch my tutorial, you'll see how to set that up. We've already done that. But the wind overlay actually allows you to get the exact wind angle. So you can see I'm spinning around my screen here while holding down that icon. And if I get the tip of that spinner right against the tip of the triangle, I've got the exact wind angle. Now, one of the cool things is that once you release that, it will stay there. So you can see that you've got the right angle, which I'm pretty comfortable that we do. So that is telling me that I've got
small details like, sorry, Bringer.
So-
These small details like for precision, like we improved it by the time because at the beginning the circle was disappearing. So like it improved a lot, and all those minor improvement on precision like makes huge difference. It can makes the difference between the drops and just a almost dropping.
Yeah, for sure. So once I think with the algorithms that we've got, once you get past about 7 or 8 degrees outside of the correct adjustment value, you'll start to get the wrong value. So the fact that we've got such a precision wind angle finder makes such a huge difference to getting the right numbers. So, all right, so the app is telling me, as you can see against the club icon, so below the club, that's the adjustment value that you need to make. So it's telling me that we need to do 3.49 rings. Obviously, that's very difficult to do, so we're going to do a 3.5 ring pull. Now, one of the cool things that the app has, once we close the calculator screen, it will still pop up with the adjustment value. So if you start to have another look at your shot, you forget what your number was, it's there on screen. You'll always see it. Okay, so we're 3.5 rings. That's our adjustment value. Now, again, one of the things that you'll find in the tutorial is the pull methodology. But very quickly, what you always need to do is pull through the entire center ring, treating every ring as one ring. So in this case, we've got a 3.5 ring pull. What I will do is start 2.5 rings from the bullseye. So in this case, we're going to be halfway through the second white ring. And then I will pull all the way through to the other side of the center ring. So we're just going to do that. That looks pretty close. My adjustments may not be perfect because I've been a little bit nervous for the last couple of hours, and I thought I might get some Dutch courage, and I've had a couple of drinks. So if the adjustments aren't exactly right, you know why. All right, let's see how close we get here. Maybe I should drink more. That was a perfect pull. Perfect shot. Oh. So there you go. Look how close that was. And we've been sitting here talking through the whole time. You know, I'm not really focusing on the shots. And you're going to get really close every time. So there you go. Right on the money. First shot, right on the money. All right, let's go and have a look at the next hole. I think it was slightly downhill, like I thought originally. I listened to some other dude who told me it was uphill.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna get a second chance here with the big wind at 4.2.
Yeah. So that's one thing. Like I'm going to play through this with trophy balls, and as most of you guys will know, trophy balls now are getting up above sort of 4 miles per hour in a standard tournament, which makes it a lot harder to do your shot setup. But you know, even in those higher winds, you're going to get really close with trophy balls. So one thing it does do is let you save your really good quality premium balls for those tight par threes where you want to reduce your wind, or for the long par fives where you want to be able to blast it, and you might still be in a top spin hellfire range, and you still want to get some wind reduction to make sure you're not having to offset too far from the hole. So it's one good thing. You'll be able to use a lot more trophy balls. I can assure you of that. So this hole, not much break. Now, one thing, I haven't played a lot of Latrobe. I think I've only actually played it once all the way through. I've been a little bit busy doing other things lately, but it's it's.
I love this hole when it's the back pin location.
I don't think I've ever played the back pin. I think I've only ever played this pin. But we'll see how we go. So we got. All right. So I've counted back 14 rings from max, and so the shot view on Rattler is 90%. So one thing in the app, if you click on the club that you want to play with and you have a look above the club icon, you'll see a percentage value there. That is actually telling you the shot view of that club. So while I went back in and checked on the club in the actual game, you don't have to do that. You've got a quick reference to be able to understand what your shot view looks like. So I'm a 90% shot view on the Rattler. I've got a very slight headwind, not much. And I am probably, looks like a pretty flat pull to me. So I think I am a little bit close there. So I'll go back a little bit further. So we're at 14.1 rings there. If I go back and have a look at my shot view, I think that looks pretty good. I don't know, you guys, if you see anything wrong there, you tell me. One thing with the short irons as well, there's a little bit of extra offset. So you'll see that I'm a little bit right at the flag here. But that is on purpose. So I'm 14.1 rings from max with a 4.2 mile per hour wind. And I go and set my shot up right against the wind angle. So I've got a 5.3 ring pull. Now again, I don't know this hole, so there might be something hidden that I'm not seeing, but we'll get real close. We'll get real close. That looks like the right adjustment. So 5.3 rings all the way through to the other side of the center. Let's see if we can hit ultimate. In we come. Should be nice and close. Look at that. Ooh. Right up to the cup. So again, I don't know this hole. Obviously there's a little bit more backspin than what's showing on the actual on the screen when I look at my ball guide. But you can see that you're going to get real close every time. Same as last time.
The line was perfect.
It was, yeah. Right at the cup. All you need to do is worry about your roll out.
The drops
So
are
I
there.
will say in that Yaz Lakes tournament, we had the 4-day last weekend. There was one par 3 that was Rattler all day long, and I had never hit Rattler in a like competitive aspect before, like never in a tournament. And I thought, oh, you know what? I got the caddy. It's got Rattler in there now. I'll give it a go. So I did it on days 2, 3, and 4, and I was 3 for 3 on that par 3. And
Nice.
to this day, I am 3 for 3 with the Rattler, and those are the only shots I've ever taken with it, and they all resulted in a 1400.
So I on one of the new courses, I think it might have been Yas actually, where the first tournament that came out, I was still checking Rattler numbers to make sure they were perfect. So the whole time I just played Rattler, like I was blasting shots to get into short iron range, and I think I played Rattler 7 times and dropped 6 of them, and that was like the first time that I'd really given it a good test in a tournament. So yeah, it's a great club. I've converted now. I really like it. But yeah, as Griff said, it's got that sneaky, that last little bit of backspin, that sneaky little bit of backspin that tricks you. So it's always something to keep an eye out for. But it's a great club. Yeah.
Well, it's a good opportunity here too to talk about the shot view that you've got shown in the caddy there as well, so that like on the Rattler you can have a look. So I don't even know what it is, but if when you go into caddy here, Rattler's going to be up, and we're going to see exactly what that shot view is,
Yeah.
so you can remind yourself. So there you go, 90%, right? So you're seeing 90% of that shot view, and it gives you an indication of, because we forget. I know Hellfire is 86. That's the only one I have memorized.
Yes.
But that helps you to envision where that ball is going to go, what's it going to do, and all that stuff. So just another tool that's involved in the UG.
100%. Just another nice little feature to help you guys out.
I think the
You
best
can really
thing.
tell.
Sorry.
You can really tell that the app was made by a player at a high level and has all the stuff that you want, right? Like it's not just, oh, here's some numbers, here you go. It was designed by you to win tournaments, and then the idea came with, oh, okay, I'm gonna release this to world and help everyone win tournaments. But it's designed by you. You won 100 in a row twice. Like it's the shit, guys. Like this is what everything's in there that you need. Everything.
Yep, 100%. Like we have agonized over it for such a long time. You know, what do as players, what do we care about? What are the things that we want in an app that we want to be able to quickly reference? You know, and short of putting rollout in here, it's got everything you need. There's the max distance count, there's the elevation, there's the ball types, all of that kind of stuff that you care about, and then the little things, which what we're going to do, hopefully in the next couple of holes, I'll start to show you the wedge tool, which I think is the biggest game changer that this app provides. But you know, all the things as a player, as a high-end player and a beginner, like all of the things that you will need to succeed in this game, and we've thought about it all, haven't we, Kev?
Yeah, man, and especially the like the user experience, like to make it easy to use. We were always second guessing. Okay, can we make it like quicker? Can we make it more easier to use, friendly user? Is that like, could we reduce that step into what these 2 steps into 1 steps? And overall, like it's easy to use and accurate as hell. So go and download it right now.
All right, so
that you bring up a fantastic point there, Kevin. Too, is this is gonna decrease the amount of time it takes to play a competitive round. There's no the caddy numbers are so good, and because Jimmy's a math genius, the trig that's involved in all this with adjusting that, getting your wind arrow right and putting that in there, it takes the guesswork out of it. And like I like playing quick. Like sometimes you only got a little bit of time to put it in. Like you don't have to measure down Like he put in 6.2 there. You don't have to go and be super accurate and go, okay, I'm 6.22 rings from max. And okay, well, I'm going, it's a slight tailwind. So now I've got to go over and figure it does all the math for you. And you just got to be close. You just got to be close. It is, there's no more 2-hour rounds anymore. Like this is going to knock you down to an hour, under an hour for 18 holes.
Absolutely.
Hang on,
yeah, absolutely. I not long ago, actually, on one of the Prince's courses, where I think it was probably the last season where we really pushed to try and win the regular season. And I was doing like
10 seasons ago.
yeah, it was a while ago now. I was doing 4 or 5 tournaments a day, and I forgot that I had one to finish, and I had 14 minutes left to do a 9-holer. And I finished that thing in the 14 minutes with 8 drops. Yeah, the fact that you've got the ability to really quickly input the right number, as Duff said, even if you're a couple of points on a ring out with your counts, it's not going to matter. The numbers are so solid and so accurate that you're going to get really good values every time. All right, so let's try and drop this one. I didn't go through my setup, but that's fine.
And we focus on on the most important for now, but we have more features on stuff that will increase the speed significantly, and a feature that I know that you will be excited about, Duff. So yeah, we have to go in priority, but we have a long list of stuff to add over the time.
Perfect. Well, you can tell that you guys have been engaged in Ultimate Golf for so long, and like Banger, obviously, been playing at a high level for forever and ever, and Kev yourself, even. It's not like you're coming into this just as a developer that doesn't know the game, right? You had the benefit of being one of the premier players to start this game for such a long time. I know you guys. I caught the beginning of the stream. You guys were talking about the whole elite thing a little bit, but like you were one of those. Like there's a reason you had that elite in air quotes tag put on your name there, is because you're good, and that's what helps. Is you guys were a team developing this game as players that play the game. Which, oh, look at this juicy headwind here. Which helps, right? Then that's why that speaks to the level of professionalism and the level of accuracy that is in the UG Caddy.
Let's drop this one. Let's drop this one.
Take a breath, mate, and knock it home, buddy.
It's go time. Got 5.5 rings and see what we're looking at.
I've got a bottle of Jack Daniels on this for you, mate.
This one is tight. Look at that backspin. So I don't know whether you can see that on the stream, but that arc is really tight. So this thing right now is going to fall back on itself, which I don't want. It's very hard to set a shot up like that. So what I will do is take a little bit of backspin off and start to have a look at that. That, I think, looks a lot better. Yeah, and I know I can see that I've got a slight uphill pull here. So I'm going to set it up real close. I want it to pretty much drop straight into the cup here. That looks pretty good. Might be a touch hot, but I prefer to play aggressively, so I will take a flag kiss over a lip shot any day of the week. I know there's a few of the other top guys that are like that too. A lot easier to play that way.
Mikey wants you to do it the Stingray, mate.
Well, Mikey could go and himself.
No chance I'm playing with a Stingray. Maybe later. Next stream. Sorry, buddy. All right, so what do we got? 3.65 rings. All right, let's go. Let's get this. I think that looks real close. I think that's good. I might kiss the flag here, but hopefully not. Hopefully we get a drop.
Sometimes just a kiss is good enough, and sometimes you want to get in the hole.
That's right. Let's go for third base.
My lips are sealed.
All right. There we go. Let's get this thing. Come on. Get in the hole. The line's going to be good. I know that much. There we go. Nice juicy headwind. Good numbers. Good setup.
Oh, that's it.
Dropped it in the hole.
Where am I sending you a bottle of Jack Daniels, mate?
Yeah, that's right.
So it's Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. The address is
You don't get a selection out of the cabinet, mate.
All right, so this is actually a perfect hole to have a little bit of fun with the wedge ruler. So that we haven't looked at the wedge ruler yet.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to blast this one. So there's a hot spot on this hole, but we're not going to worry about that. I want to give it a long range shot so you guys can see how the wedge ruler works.
Sorry, Bang, I was going to say, as someone who hasn't actually used the ruler yet, I'm really excited about seeing this again. It's a game changer in itself.
Even
it doesn't miss.
Yeah,
it doesn't miss.
I'm so excited about this thing. I've been playing around with it a lot the last few weeks, and it is crazy how many drops you get. I was talking to one of the whiskey guys today about, the fact that what it's going to give you, and it's not even, like you might get a short par 3 where you've got a hive shot. It's not even for that. It's for those times where you've got a round, an absolutely hot round going. You might be 13 drops through 14 holes. You're really killing it. You're set up for your next tee shot, and you get a glitch or something happens and you end up in the rough off your drive. The amount of times I've made a 70, 80, 90% rough shot in the last couple of weeks has just been insane. This ruler is such a cool feature. You guys are going to absolutely love it.
The one thing I hate, the one thing I hate most of all thing is that lip out as you're rolling, just kiss the lip of the cup on a hive shot.
So there's still plenty of that. I'm doing that. I'm still doing that. You've still got to understand. And there you go. Perfect side wind. I've been getting a lot of side wind lately. But a perfect side wind is really hard to get the exact secondary adjustment for it. But we'll get a really good look at it. So I'm going to do a backspin shot. Okay, there's a lot of break on that green. And we've got a lot of backspin here. So I'm going to take a bit off. We'll take a little bit of backspin off. Because I know it's going to pull in nice and tight when we get to the hole. So what you want to do is set up for a little bit of secondary wind. The shorter the club range, the more secondary wind. So things like a wedge and a short iron, they have a lot more impact against the secondary wind than a long iron or a wood or a driver. So I'm always thinking about secondary with these kind of shots. It's always going to be a lot higher than most of your other clubs. All right, so I want to set it up just before it starts to turn back on itself. Maybe, yeah, let's go that. We'll go there. So I'm going to have a lot of secondary after that first bounce here. So I want to set it up. Let's go here. So the good thing about this one, you don't need to worry about your ring count, because all you have to do is set your shot up, and then the caddy does the rest for you. So once you select a wedge, a rough iron, or a sand wedge, it comes up with a ruler, which you need to calibrate for your screen. However, it gives you a perfect measurement for every screen. So you need to calibrate it. It'll then give you a specific measure for your screen. And then you can go ahead and measure your shot. So in this case, we've got a 3.8 mile per hour wind, and it is a backspin shot. So when you click on the black bar that you can see that is now showed up on the screen, you've got the option to choose front or back. So this is a backspin shot, and I'm going to slide the ruler up to my bullseye, which is pretty much there. All right, this is 82%, so this is going to be a hard shot. But we are at almost max hive range, and you guys are going to see how close we get with this. So trophy ball, 82% range. Let's see how close we get. So we've got a 7.1 ring adjust. I am pulling uphill slightly here, but I think with the little bit of tiny little smidge of headwind, I think that'll pull it back up a little bit. Might just get it to just turn back on itself. That looks pretty good. So 7.1 rings. Let's see how close we get. Get in the hole, come on. Look at that.
Boom!
Look at that. I'm going to put that
gold.
shot on my main page and put that on replay, because that right there is the money maker.
Yeah, that's amazing. 80% range.
82% hive with the trophy ball at 3.8 miles an hour and straight in the cup. So
Bang it. You need to explain your ring pull, because I was watching that and you pull from two different places at times.
Yeah, good call. So if I've got a ring pull that is 5 rings or less, I will always pull from the closest side to me when I'm looking at my shot through to the other side of the center. But as soon as I've got a ring pull that is over 5 or over 5.5, I'll start to pull from the middle through to the other side. So if it's like a 6 ring adjustment, I'll start from the center circle, the closest side of that center circle to me, and I'll pull all the way through to the other side. It doesn't actually matter how you do it. Like, you guys can do it however you want. The only thing that you need to remember is to always pull through the center circle and treat every ring as one ring. So that's all you need to worry about. If you want to do a 2.5 ring adjust starting at the closest side of the center circle and go through to halfway from that to the clear circle on the other side of the center circle, that's fine. You can do that. It doesn't matter. The only rules that you need to worry about are using the center ring and always treating every ring as one ring, even though we know that's not quite the case. But the way that I've built the algorithm to run the app treats every ring as one ring. So great question, because that's really important. You need to make sure you're doing your ring pull correctly. If you're someone that's used to avoiding the center ring and pulling that first 4 rings, you need to change your method, or you're not going to get the drops from the app. You'll always be close, but you're going to miss. So you need to be focused on doing that the right way.
that was a game changer when I was advised of that, and it helped so much to pull through the ring the way that you explained it to me back in the beginning. It's
100%. Yeah,
unbelievable.
yeah, for sure. All right, we'll do a couple more holes. If anyone's got some specific questions, by all means, go ahead and ask. I am going to leave you guys here for 1 second. I'm just going to go and do a quick pit stop. But, gents, over to
Mikey
you.
wants you to run a Stingray.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see what this par 5 is. I'll be back in 1 second.
Well, while Jimmy goes and relieves himself, we'll convince him when he comes back too that the UG Caddy, yes, fantastic in tournaments, 100%. It's gonna get you balls and rewards, and you're gonna start finishing way higher up the leaderboard than you're used to. But it can also be used in the head-to-head because the input method is so easy, and with a little bit of practice, like day one, hour one, first time you're using it, yes, it's a little bit cumbersome for the head-to-head side. But once with a tiny little bit of practice, you're going to be quick enough and have the ability to guess close enough on your rings back from max that you can start to avoid using paid balls in the head-to-head, especially once we get that new tour out as well. That you're going to be able to consistently get the ball really, really close to the hole. Because in the head-to-head, you don't necessarily need a drop, right? You just need to beat the other guy. That you can input it fast enough to play it in head-to-head as well, which kind of makes head-to-head fun and relevant again.
You nailed that there,
played a
Duff.
bunch. I played a bunch, man, with the D1 and 12 miles per hour win, and I was getting close, like between like just 2 feet every time. So, but you just have to get the rhythm and be used to. So you have to be fast, and when you get that tempo, you're gonna get very close every time. And there's another input option, which isn't the calculator, it's a drag option, which is really fast. So because you don't have to be, you can be less accurate in your input numbers when you play H2H. It's probably the best option. So this is why we added it to the caddy.
Yeah, 100%. It's, I mean, you're not going to be using it in royales, but for every other game mode, so for head-to-heads, definitely you're going to use it, and it does eventually help with your royale play too a bit too, because you don't realize that as you're inputting these numbers and you're figuring out your adjustments and all that along the way, you're learning them. Maybe not down to like the 0.1s or 0.2s, but you're learning them. So now when you're going into royale play and you need to make that quick, especially with this new format that just came out, this one drop, where you do have to make a very, very quick adjustment. You're going to know kind of in the back of your mind what your adjustments are because you've used the caddy so much.
I'm sitting there giving you the thumbs up there with exactly what you said with today's release of that Royal. It was like, yeah, you got to be quick at it, and it's that little bit of knowledge in the back of your head helps so much.
That's actually funny. I just came back at the right time. We were in the test group. We were only talking about this today. One of the guys won his bracket because he'd memorized his Pro D numbers with the app, and I think he dropped 2 or 3 shots in the 9 rounds. So, that's the thing. You're gonna understand your numbers a lot better, and you can play those kind of formats and be really successful.
The numbers are great. You just got to know where to put it, and that's the hardest part.
So I don't think this is a Stingray hole for Mikey. Sorry, buddy. I don't think we're going to see a Stingray. Not today.
Launch it.
Hey Jimmy, do you want to show the other input method quickly, the drag method?
Sure. So this is in the tutorial, but very quickly, there's 2 ways to input your numbers. So you've got, when you hit the settings screen, so in the bottom right corner of the calculator window, there's a settings button. The second option down is for your input method. So you can either drag or use a calculator. Obviously, as you've seen, I've been using a calculator. But if you want to use drag, we select drag, and what you can then actually do is click and hold on the icon that you want to change. So I'm changing my wind value there. and you can drag up and down the screen to get yourself to the right value. Just a couple of different options. So if you're someone that it may be a little bit quicker to do it this way. So if you're going to use it, try and use it in head-to-head. It's a good idea to have a look at both methods. But yeah, the drag feature is really cool. Kevin did a lot of work to get that sorted. So if you're someone that wants to have a play around, see which method works best for you, you've got the option to drag up and down the screen or use a calculator.
I hate you right now.
What's that, mate?
Because I've been using the drag method the whole time.
Seriously?
I have.
I was the same way. I didn't realize you could do the other way until about 2 weeks ago, and I went, "Oh my god, this is genius!"
We've been genius in 6 months. Man.
I've been feeding my hamster cheese and everything. It's been running around the wheel. The numbers have been coming out. It's been great, but
I have used this app. I've used the app in head-to-head, and for head-to-head, I prefer the drag method because as long as you're close, you know, you're not having to press a button 3 times to get a number. I don't know why. I just prefer to use the calculator in tournaments, but absolutely in head-to-head, I am using the drag function. You only need to be close. You don't need to be exactly on the money. So what we're going to do, I'm going to play. I'll play this whole through, and then I'm going to play the next par 4, showing you guys how to save yourself with a mid-range rough shot. So we'll just go ahead, see if we can get another drop here, and then we'll go and do the long-range rough shot, and then I think we might call it. I don't know. Unless we start getting some more questions, because I know, look, people are only just starting to download it. There's going to be a lot of questions coming in thick and fast over the next few days. We'll do another stream in the next couple of days and get you guys sorted. So don't stress if you've got questions that you still need answered over the next couple of weeks. That's fine. We're going to be around. We'll be able to answer all your questions. If you have a look on Facebook, I've set up a page. So if you go to Facebook and search for Ultimate Golf Caddy Group, you'll find the Facebook page, and there's a support chat in there, and there's obviously a regular Facebook page that you can go and ask any questions. And I think as the app grows, that page is going to be a really useful resource for you guys to have questions answered and share setups. You know, we can all sort of work together to get better and better at the game. So make sure you go and have a look at the Facebook page. Ooh, I'm right on Max here.
And I do believe Banger and I are going to try and play a competitive round tomorrow evening. That's Sunday evening Eastern, 9:00.
We are.
Him and I are we're gonna jump on the Duff channel, mess around with the caddy. I know it'll be early for you, but I'm sure I'll have a libation or two, and we'll put the caddy to work. This is a first look at it. Let's answer some questions, stuff like that. I'm gonna put in a competitive effort on it, and you guys can see exactly what it's like. I'm gonna use good balls. I'm gonna do everything. I'm gonna do a full out round.
Me too.
Yep. And see what the caddy can actually do.
100%.
Not that it's not doing it now, but just see what it looks like when you have a player. You can't say this without sounding cocky, at our caliber, using it to its full potential.
100%. Yep. And that's going to be a lot of fun. And it won't be as much me just trying to talk through a setup, because it's really hard to do when you're like the center of attention. You're trying to, yeah, it's hard. But you know, we've got a couple of really nice drops. That last one, I think that one's going to do some of the sales job for me on its own. So I think we were 27 rings from max. We've definitely got a downhill roll. Slight headwind, but lots of downhill roll. So pretty much here I just want the tip of the ball guide into the cup. So you'll see I'm just gently adjusting until I get to a spot where I'm comfortable. I think that looks pretty good. How much headwind have I got here? Yeah, that looks good. All right, so I think I was 27 and then I went roughly another ring. And that looks pretty good. So when you want to switch clubs, all you need to do is go to the club family that you're changing to. So when you open up the club icon menu, you've got all of your club families there. If you just click and hold on that club family, you can change to any club in the game. So we've got.
I like that aspect.
Yeah, it's nice and quick. It makes it easy to use. So 27, let's say 27.8. That's roughly right, I think. 4 mile an hour wind. And so Caddy's telling me I need a 9.6 ring pull. It's a 4 mile per hour wind, so that's going to give me a little bit of side action. So with lightning rod, it has a lot more secondary than something like a Bigfoot or a root. It looks like I'm pulling downhill slightly, but I'm going to offset to the left of the cup just a little bit. That's probably too far. Pretty good. So 9.6 rings. So again, this is a good example of what we just talked about before, Fat Cat. So I've got 9.6 rings. So I can either start here and go all the way through to 9.6 rings here. But what I like to do is start with the increment first. So if I've got a portion of a ring and it's less than 10 rings, I'll always start with the portion that I need before going to full rings. So
Perfect.
I'll start with the 0.6. Okay, so I'm 9.6 roughly there. 9.6 from the outside of the other side of the rings. That looks pretty well centered. So I've gone all the way through to the other side of the outside ring. That gives me 9.6, treating every ring as one ring. Let's see how close we get. I can see that there's a little bit of downhill, so that's actually going to mean I've got a slightly lower adjustment, but I think that pretty significant portion of side wind on a 4 mile per hour wind is going to push it back in the right direction. So we'll see how close we get.
Should hold you up.
I think it'll roll out, but I think it might be a little bit right. Yeah, that's what I thought. So that 4 mile per hour wind with a lightning rod, which has a lot more secondary, really comes into play. And again, as I said, I think I've only played Latrobe through once, so I don't know the greens that well. But because the numbers are tight, they're always going to give you the right value for the starting position that you've got. Next time I go and play that hole, I know exactly what's going to happen on that wind direction. I'll get the right number, and I'll drop it. So
the app and knowledge will come in hand.
100%. Yep. You'll start to see significant improvements in your understanding of how the greens work in the game. So this is a par 3, but I'm gonna pretend I got a needle glitch. I stuffed my shot up. I've got
Not uncommon for you.
I know that happens quite a bit, especially these days. I will say, since I broke my ankle and had to take 3 months out of the game when I was doped up on drugs trying to recover, I've struggled coming back, and in that time, the guys that are playing the game have gotten so much better, which is awesome. Like I love seeing a lot more competition in the game. But you know,
Yeah, the fairway.
I've got my work cut out for me, and now that I'm going to have more time on my hands after getting this app sorted out, watch out. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna get myself back up there. But yeah, so all right, so we'll do a top spin shot. So this feature for rough irons. Now I think the biggest issue for me when I set this shot up is going to be trying to hit it perfect. I should have put a swing zone pin on. I've had a couple of beverages, but that's okay. I'm going to get this nice and close. You guys are going to see how cool this tool is.
Sounds like a you problem.
It is definitely a me problem, mate. All right, so I've got a 3.9 mile per hour wind. I've gone top spin. So my avatar's a little bit hidden there, but I know I want to be roughly there. I'm just going to keep zooming out until I get to max. So go and have a look at the wedge ruler tutorial that I made. You've got to make sure you're at max zoom every time you take these shots. Otherwise, the calibration's not going to work for you. So on my top spin shot, I'm going to find my bullseye, which is right there. All right, so I've got one thing I didn't explain when I did the hive shot, but when you release the ruler, it will automatically populate the distance into the app. So you can see that it's now showing a 22% distance shot for Voodoo.
That is a great feature.
It's so cool. I love it. I seriously love it. I've had so much fun playing around with this. So we've got a 1.8 ring adjust. Now, here is the only exception to the rule of pulling through the center. If you've got an adjustment that is less than 2 rings, just use one full white ring and then adjust the rest through a clear ring. So I'm going to use 0.8 of a clear ring and one full white ring to get my 1.8. And I'm still at a pretty short range, so I'm not going to worry about my secondary wind here, but I mean, this could all go to custard when I don't hit perfect, but hopefully I can hit it close to perfect and you guys can see how good it actually is. So that looks like about 1.8 rings. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So I don't know why, but I always start, when I've got less than 2 rings, I'll start closest to the outside of the furthest rings away from me, and then I'll adjust through. So I'm 0.8 rings into that last clear ring. I will pull through to the other side. That's 1.8 rings. Deep breath. Try and hit perfect. Let's go. Well, that's close enough. That's close enough to perfect. That should be real close. And look at that. In the hole. So,
absolutely beautiful explanation there, mate.
I've duffed my drive. No pun intended, duff. I've got a hot round going. I've missed the fairway and I need to save a shot with my rough iron or my sandwich.
We've all done it. We've all done it.
So and the amount of times I've hit replay after doing it, you don't have to do that anymore. You are definitely going to be better than 50-50. Whereas before it was 0. I was never making those shots ever because I didn't have a method that got me there. So you've got that now. So I think I don't know, unless, as I said, unless there's some other questions that come through, but it doesn't look like anyone's got any questions yet. As I said, we're going to do another stream. We'll do a couple more through the week. Me and Duff are going to do a live playthrough seriously over the next couple of days, so you'll get to see some more drops. But But I think we've sort of shown everything that the app's got. You've seen some really cool drops, and you've had some fun with a couple of cool guys. So I think we'll leave it there, guys. Duff, anything you want to say before we go, buddy?
If you're watching this, make sure tonight's 7 o'clock. I can't do this without a plug, right?
Yeah, plug away. 7
o'clock tonight is the final of the Ultimate Golf Country Club Championship Tournament. We have Whiskey Business against the French family. Obvious French family, huge underdogs, but anything can happen in this final round. And yes, to everyone to do with the UG Caddy, just stay with it. Enter a whole pile of tournaments, use your replays. If you got practice pins, use it. You're gonna get it. Don't be frustrated if the drops don't happen right away immediately. Just be happy with the progression. Like I said before, those 800s are going to be 850s, 875s, and the next thing you know, 999, and it won't take long. So stick with it, have some fun with it, practice with it, and it's good. Every club that's in there is good, so you can mess around too. You want to try some Rattlers? Sure. You want to try some other club that you've never used before? Sure. Try it. Anyway, congratulations, buddy. I'm so happy for you.
Thanks, brother. Thanks, mate. Really appreciate it. Kevin, over to you, buddy. What do you got, mate?
Just a quick thank you to the testing group because they have been amazing. And
Absolutely.
They helped us. Yeah, they helped us a lot to improve the general concepts because they were using it every day. Every time they had a problem, they come at us, and we took notes and always go in priority. So there has been a outstanding help. And if you have problem, you can send an email from the setting page in the app itself, or you can use the Facebook page as well to contact us. So I'll be connected all this weekend just to be sure everything is all right. So
yeah, and I can't believe I didn't already thank the test group. Absolutely, I second what Kevin has said, that we've had 50 users that have been helping us out with our testing over the last couple of months, and there's been a huge bunch of those guys that have been so supportive. They've given us really good feedback that's helped us improve the app. So if any of you guys are watching, I know Griff was in here before, but we cannot thank you guys enough. I don't think we would have got here if it wasn't for you. So you're all legends. Thank you so much. And as Kevin has said, you can either find the email for support in the app, or you can jump on the Facebook page and hit us up. And Fat Cat, you're last before I close this thing out.
Mate, honestly, there's nothing more I can say. You guys have absolutely nailed this. I really, really look forward to seeing everyone improve their game. Honestly, just the work you two have put in, second to none. So well done. Congratulations. And the test group has done an amazing job as well.
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you.
So I've had one really annoying older gentleman in the chat who's throwing shade, but he's got...
Oh, what, Grizzly?
No, much older than Grizzly.
Oh, that'd be Michael then.
That is Michael. So he has asked a very important question. I know he's throwing us a freebie with that question, but he has a question about the ability to drag more than 20 miles per hour. So for those that are still with us, there is a setting option. If we go back into the actual app interface, so when you are selecting drag, there is a limit set that you can change. So if you go into the settings page in the app, you'll see a maximum wind value setting. If I go and change that to say 40, I can now go and increase that. But that it depends on whether you're going to use it. If you're not worried about the drag, then you don't need to worry about that. But that will allow you to increase the amount of adjustment that you can do when you're using the drag method. So good question. Thanks for the freebie, Mikey. All right.
And make sure he said it didn't work, but like you have to hit the back to leave the page, so it's gonna save the
Yeah.
settings.
Yeah. So you go back. It'll ask you. It then once you've hit back, it'll then automatically update. So you've just got to do that first.
Oh, fuck it. He'll have another forget, mate.
Yeah. He'll delete his computer instead. All right. Well, I think we're good. I think you guys have had a pretty good look at how it works. A couple of really nice drops. Good drop with a root. Really nice drop from 82% with a hive, and then a saver from, what was it, 25% voodoo distance. So, go and have some fun with it. As Duff said, test out all the random clubs that you've never used. They're all in there. They're all tight. Go and focus on reading the green and getting your setup right, and you guys are going to get lots of drops. And yeah, give us your feedback. Let us know how it's going. And if you got, don't be worried about asking silly questions on the Facebook page. We're there.
I've done all of those.
You're our captain of silly questions. So, and I've been dealing with him for a long time. So, you guys are good to go. If I can deal with Fat Cat, I can deal with anyone. So yeah, go and use it. Have some fun. Can't wait to get the feedback and see how you guys are going. But until then, thanks very much for joining us, and we'll see you out on the course. Cheers, guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Yep.
Yeah.